Hey everybody and welcome back to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley.
I am Commander Cockings, and conceptually, we are going to look at a starship. But only conceptually, because really we're looking at pen and paper drawing.
Ooh.
In technicalities. Getting meta with it, Stuart.
That's right. We've taken a look at a few concept designs that just never quite got where they needed to go. Some of them are pretty fantastic, and we've looked at quite a few of those. Today is no exception.
Yeah.
We are taking a look at a popular little ship that almost was a little different.
Yes. We, of course, about the Runabout, and here it is in all of its correct, actual, final glory. But yes, there's several concepts. We're going to look at them. And this one, here goes the picture, is a nice colour sketch, and there's two pictures, two iterations of a almost could have been version before it got swapped around a bit. Now it's worth clarifying that when the Runabout was in thought through, they were potentially going to reuse the Janolan model from TNG, which was in itself a reuse of a shuttle model for one of the movies. So originally it was more just like an older shuttle, and you can see that very much in this design. It is very much a lot more like that, but still, we're still in DS9. We're still, mid to late TNG. That stuff's got to come through. So Stuart, I assume you've seen this design before, but talk me through what you think of this. Now, obviously, we're not looking at it as a replacement to the Runabout, just more a case of as the design, as it fits into canon potentially, and the details. And Rick Sternbeck, what a legend. So, what do you think, Stuart?
You're right. I had seen it before, and I'm quite impressed with it, actually. That's exactly roughly what this looks like, and that would have been fine. I kind of like this look, but this is like this looks very fast. This looks very purposeful. I'm kind of glad they went with the actual Runabout that they did, but this is a neat ship in and of itself, and I think should be seen in some part of Star Trek, because I could definitely have a home.
It's a weird one because I don't imagine Rick got all the ideas of the Runabout. The Runabout is obviously of its era, and we've seen these things have warp nacelles. Now, it might have under warp nacelles, but since the ramp is very not steep, they would got to be super thin. So I'm picturing it doesn't necessarily have visible warp nacelles, which would be make it certainly more of that ship to ship, ship to planet shuttle. But it does change the entire vibe. It makes it feel way more like the shuttle pod, more civilian-y, more short range. But yeah, it definitely feels a bit more fast. It's not too sleek, but it's certainly some sleek, although it's still got the Aero shuttle wear vibe. But I mean, in as much as the Aero shuttle is not sleek per se, it's more sleek than some, but all its edges are still that sort of thick but slightly rounded. So the edge, the wing bit is thick but slightly rounded. So it's not necessarily sleek looking, but it's not like, you know what I mean? It's that very sort of functional in between. I do like it though. I just love seeing details. I love seeing Rick's stuff especially. And obviously some things are direct holdovers. I mean, look at that front little bit with with the windows and the two top bits. That's exactly what's on the Runabout. So he did carry stuff over. But it's just bigger. And
yeah, the thing that confuses me is at the top there, those two brown whatever. I mean, they look like they're fantastic details, but does that mean that it has two smaller warp cores in there? Or is that the top of the warp core? Like what? Because usually those elements kind of look like turbines or something. It looks like something important.
Yeah, I couldn't go away from just a turbine feel.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what those are, but it's a cool feature nonetheless. I don't know how I feel about it being on top of the ship. This looks like something that should be on the bottom almost. I think it looks great, and I love the coloring. I love that kind of copper color used in conjunction with the other Starfleet colors. I think that's kind of cool. Plus the UFP symbol on the front. I kind of like that.
Me too. Yeah, it's proudly saying, "Hey guys," but it is weird because it doesn't. And again, speak if you agree or disagree. It doesn't really feel TNG. It feels in between. It doesn't feel refit, but it feels like we've next gen to refit, but it doesn't feel TNG to me. The RCS thrusters, but there are RCS thrusters, if less that, less yellow on like the refit. And obviously they do exist on the C, but that was obviously designed in TNG to link. So retroactively it all links together, but it doesn't quite feel that new.
No, I agree with you 100%. This seems like something that would have been new around the time of the Enterprise C, but still being used as a holdover in
Yeah.
TNG because it's still, good enough to be used. Yeah, absolutely. The design aesthetic definitely feels kind of refitty.
I mean, you've got now the phaser strip and the transport emitters, which both are introduced on the C, so that links in too. But I just can't go away from the fact there's no warp nacelles. Because I'm wondering if you did add warp nacelles right to the bottom, kind of like the Type 11 Nemesis one is, like snug right there. I think that would give it really interesting dimensionality, and it would then just look more like the Type 9, the Type 7, Type 6, Type 5, all the types. But it is a unique body shape.
No, I agree. Those little things that stick out, the winglets, I guess, put a small little strut there and a warp engine on there. I think it would look actually great, to be honest.
Although I think because of how thin it gets at the front compared, you'd need to have like a detail on the bottom to thicken out the front. Like if you added like a little deflector module that sort of like was in the hull, stuck out a little bit, and that gave the bit of bulk to the front, so it didn't feel as unbalanced. Because if you added warp nacelles, it would be very like back heavy. But if you had like a what do you think? Or like a torpedo launcher, make it more functional.
Torpedo launcher would work. I mean, yeah, any little detail at the front there.
As an at the bottom, so we can't really visualize it because we only have one view.
Yeah, I would like to see this added, actually, with warp nacelles added. And I think that's what they did kind of with the ship we see in Insurrection. No, yeah, Insurrection.
Mm-hmm. Type 11.
Yeah, Type 11.
Yeah.
It looks very similar.
Well, let's jump to the next picture, which is the alternate. This is the Rollbar variant with slightly different shading, and I mean it's just a different iteration. If you just briefly scroll back and forward again, you can see just different shade, different color, and the fact that now the sizing feels slightly different because of how the way they get on the ship is. Now it feels slightly smaller to me. I kind of like it lands on its entire body now, based on the shadow shading. And you just have to sort of step on. It's very easy.
Yeah, I like the steps better than the ramp for sure.
Oh, can you see in the cockpit, in the windows, there's actually chairs in the windows?
Yeah.
That's really cool. Look at that. That's awesome.
And this kind of roll bar variant or idea was actually carried over to the Runabout as well. With the later refit, or the later armed, more armed Runabout, so.
Or sensors, we done an episode on it, or cargo module, I think I also like the striking browns more here, that he's clearly like reshaded it a bit. Like a slightly stronger vibe. It's subtle, but it does add something. Oh, and look, that diddly phaser strip on top of the roll bar. So it's not weapon roll bar. Although it might have aft torpedoes.
Maybe micro torpedo launchers or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as a TOS sort of fanboy, what do you think about keeping over the TOS rim that goes over the front vibe, which is so iconically TOS?
I like it.
Yeah, I do too.
It's a nice look. It fits. I don't know about the shape of the roll bar. It's like it's drawn weird, because the one that's closest to us seems very like just a smooth little arc, and then the other one's like 90 degree. It's not drawn well to suit the model.
Hard to represent. I mean, come on, it's so well done perspective wise. I didn't notice that, but yeah, that's a yeah.
It's throwing me off. It's like one of the first things my eyes sees when it looks at this picture.
You know what it looks like though? It looks like the Argo, in that the roll bar actually stays still. It's actually attached via a pilot on top, and the wings go like almost not quite at the bottom, but at the top, the way they're connected, which would be very thin, but that would just be like the Argo, and I don't mind that as a detail.
That's a great catch. Actually, I didn't even consider that.
Obviously, we wish we had more views. That would have been great. But it's one of those things. It's a nice, it says 6 of 92, so this is quite old as a concept, and I've seen it for years and years. It's definitely appeared in many books, and it's always fun to show. Although it's got some Delta Flyer in it, like just a bit.
I can see that. The shape of that winglet and stuff, and the way it goes around the back. I can see different shapes in here that definitely were carried over to the Delta Flyer.
Like more than the Runabout. You know, like the way he's kind of
Yeah.
going in, and obviously it doesn't look like the Delta Flyer. That's what I'm saying. But compared to the Runabout style, which is not, he was drawing things, and it's like, you know, it's fun to see the creator many years earlier do something similar. But I think it's a fun design. I think this is totally. This should be built. This should be in a show. This should be in a fan film. I mean, why don't I get on my team to build it and put it in a fan film? There you go.
So yeah, what do you guys think of this shuttle design? Have you seen it before? Is this new to you? I don't know. Maybe it is. Some people don't see all these things.
If they watch Trekyards, they know. They care.
They should know. But anyway, put in the comments down below what you think of the design. Do you like it with the rollbar, without? You know, let us know your thoughts. And by all means, help us out if you can by clicking like. It's a small thing. Just click like. Just do it right now while I'm talking about clicking like. Just click it. And check your subscribe button. If it's red, it means you haven't clicked it yet. So click subscribe so you don't miss any of our future content.
Real important. Real important.
So is the bell, because it's a notification thing. If you want to get notified when we upload new content like this and other great things that we do, by all means, click that as well.
Yeah, and of course, support on Patreon if you'd like to. We do every week a ship or an interview on Saturday, and then live streams throughout the week about various topics, mostly episode reviews, but also breaking news. If there's one, we come and join in. Plus random content that Stuart does, Eagles reviews, all that fun stuff. There's a lot of content. If you want to support us on Patreon, it's a great way, because you're not just supporting us or the channel, you're supporting, well, not just us or the show, it's the channel and what we can do in the future. So please consider even $5 makes a big difference, or a one-time donation at trekyards.com, click the donate button, or join those lives I mentioned and super chat any which way. All those different systems give us a different percentage, but they're all really useful and kind of our 3 pillars of keeping this going. So thanks in advance for any and all.
That's right. And don't forget our Teespring store down below as well, because we got some cool Trekyards and Fleet Yards merchandise. And don't forget, you can save yourself some money on Eagle Moss ships. They're doing concept ships now. Maybe this will be a thing. So maybe at some point they'll do this one and you can get it physically in your hands. And if you use the code Trekyards at checkout, you can save yourself some money. So lots of links down below. Check them out. So until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
I am Commander Fangs.
See you later.
Bye, guys.